Hello viewers, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Today I wanted to have a look at Trump's June, of course, as I usually do at the end or the beginning of the month. Now we know that he's off to the UK, and of course prior to his trip he's already been insulting, particularly Meghan Markle. I think he called her a nasty woman, or words to that effect, in so many words. He's also endorsed Boris Johnson, who, of course, is one of the front runners for the leadership of the Tory party following Theresa May's resignation. So he's again meddling in politics, while in another country's politics. I don't need to tell you how inappropriate this is. We only need to look at what he said about Kim Jong-un when he was in Japan. This is all part of his strategy. But let's have a look at what the Brits are actually thinking, because the Mayor of London has come out in a scathing op-ed and basically, torched Donald Trump. He's also given permission for that baby blimp to be flying while Trump is visiting. There are notable exceptions on this state visit. He won't be given a parade down Pall Mall. There are other things that he won't be addressing Parliament, etc. So I feel in a way the Brits have been caught by Theresa May's invitation that was issued just after the Trump election when she visited the US. The other, the other thing is their diplomacy. Some have called it a little bit, they've been a little bit harsher on the Brits for even inviting him, given that this is a president who really should have been indicted for obstruction of justice, one of the worst gaslighters, provoker of division, etc., etc., and he's being courted by the royal family. The royal family, as I know, usually likes to stay above politics, but in this case they've been thrust firmly in the middle of it. Okay, so let's with all of that as the backdrop, multiple issues, testimonies that are likely to come forward in June, perhaps. Will we see Mueller testifying in June or later this year? We've got some astrologically, it's a big month as well. So all of these issues are combining. What's Trump's June going to be like? First of all, let's have a look at an update on his UK visit, given the latest remarks from Donald Trump, which go to the heart of the royal family, the Duchess of Sussex, and also buying into the Tory leadership. What are the British thinking of him at the moment? What are the royal family thinking? Okay, what are the royal family thinking? What are the royal family thinking of the Trump visit? Oops, something's jumped out. Okay, so we've got the Knight of Cups, which is suggesting that they're always going to, roll out the red carpet, but it's suggesting it's going to be a quick thing. Their emotion or their welcoming of Trump is going to be very hasty indeed. Okay, so hence why a lot of these things, like the visit to Pall Mall, the parade down the mall, the other notable exceptions, hence why they've been left out. This, I feel, is something they're doing because they have to, because they have to have this balance here, and it's a balance between diplomacy, and it's also a balance between not wanting to upset their own people. There's a great deal of hostility to Donald Trump, particularly in London. Not wanting to upset their own people, wanting to be diplomatic, wanting to stay above the fray. The royal family is usually fairly clever, and I feel they will be clever in the way that they pull this off. I feel it's a position they've been put into. Now, what is the foundation of the reading? The death card is the ending of Trump's presidency. So this president has been given a state visit under the circumstances that currently exist in the US. And he's been meddling in UK politics for some time now. He's also telling the Brits that Nigel Farage should be their negotiator on Brexit, etc. This is all coming at the ending of someone's presidency. So it's a really hard gig for the royal family. The other aspect of this card is I hope that there is no violence in terms of the protests, because this card also has another meaning as well. It's the ending of something. Now, what we've got in the past, we've got the Knight of Pentacles here, and I do feel this is the news that's coming out of the UK around Trump's tax returns. What would be the situation? What would be the situation in the future if Trump's financials show potential criminal activity, and he's gone over under this cloud that's hanging over him, and has been wined and dined at Buckingham Palace? That's a tremendous compromising position that the Queen and the royal family have been put into. And I feel that these thoughts are going through their mind as well. What is hanging over is the King of Pentacles. This is Donald Trump, the businessman. Would he have ever gotten an audience with the Queen, wined and dined, state visit, had he not been President of the United States? Absolutely not. And this is what they're worried about. They're worried about this money trail. What happens in the future? How are they going to look? So they're going to have to be fairly clever about this state visit. No fawning, no, it's going to be above the fray. The Page of Cups in the immediate future, I feel that this is what's going to happen. It's like a pared down state visit. It's like it won't be a nothing affair, but it's not going to be as grand or as, I guess, high profile. I mean, obviously Trump's high profile because protesters will come. But in terms of, I think, photo opportunities, the kind of information coverage coming out, it's going to be a pared down version, I feel. For good reason as well. The foundation, because they don't want to incite these riots, they don't want to incite the violence. The foundation of the reading is simply trade. This is a business decision. When I say business decision, this is commerce and expansion. This is the relationship, the trading relationship or potential relationship in the future, even post-Brexit, or whether Brexit occurs or not. This is all about commerce and trade. Okay, now, the environment around is the devil. Okay, now it's greed and avarice, obviously, is the traditional meaning of this card. However, I watched an astrologer the other day who had another take on the devil card. He likened it to Saturn, which is the great, I guess, the planet that shakes us up. And this is indicating that, and the shake-up is in order to produce change. Sometimes the shake-up can be quite violent, can be quite forceful. That is the mark of Saturn. And this card, he likened that to Saturn in astrological terms. So we have commerce and expansion as the foundation, as the situation now. But what we have here is this volatility in the environment around. And as the foundation of the reading is the ending of Trump's presidency. And look, I have to be honest, the death card doesn't just mean that. We've had a number of children dying in custody in the US. A number of children dying in custody in the US, asylum seekers, illegal immigrants, however you want to call that, children are dying in custody in the US. We've also had multiple shootings. So I don't want to just say this is the ending of the Trump presidency. This is the actual death of people under potentially violent or negligent circumstances. So Saturn is the devil, is the great upender. In order for us to actually see what's going on, I read this morning that in one of the camps, and I'm just going to call them camps, in one of the camps, the asylum seekers had to go to stand in the toilets because there wasn't enough standing room at that in that enclosure. It was almost like wall to wall people. So all of this while and that's not considering Mueller. All of this while while Trump is travelling overseas and taking tea with the Queen. It's a little bit upside down world, isn't it? Okay, so we've got and I did not utter one conspiracy theory in all of that narrative at all. This is actually what is going on. Okay, so we've got the hopes and fears, the Four of Wands. This is a celebration card. I do feel that they hope that it will just go off quite smoothly. I also get it that this is the hope that that the end of Trump's presidency is close. Now, what we've got in the as the outcome position, we've got the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is really strength. It's a strength card, but it's also what's going to triumph here. Is it going to be Trump, or is it going to be the multitude of people that will stand up and over Trump? And I feel the question was, would the palace, how are the royals feeling? I feel that they will bring strength to this situation. I feel that they're going to be clever in their approach. I feel they're going to give him a pared down visit. I feel that they will control very carefully the images and the information that's coming out of the palace during the visit. It's likely to be a pared down version. They won't be, blasting it on the airwaves and on the media. This is not something that I do believe that they're proud of. I feel that they've been put into this position. Now we've got the Five of Pentacles, and this is someone is going to be left out in the cold, and it's mirroring the King of Wands here. This is also financial loss. So this also, I feel the royals are conscious that they are humanitarians. Prince Charles, again, wants to talk to Trump about climate change. We've got Prince Harry, and his work across the globe, and particularly in Africa. Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge, the work that they do around mental health and inclusion. What are they going to be doing? They're going to be modelling this strength. And I think advocating where they can. The Ten of Pentacles, of course, is the dynastic wealth card. This is the Trump organisation card. The Trump children are going to be there. So really what I see here is an attitudinal, almost an attitudinal, energy that's likely to come from the royals. They are not impressed. They are advocates for those that don't, that aren't wealthy. And of course, the Trumps come in straight out of something from, a nouveau riche. We call that in Australia nouveau riche, which means new money. And pretentiousness, and that's not going to wash with the royals. Okay, so I feel they're going to be standing firm. But in terms of strategy, and we've got retreat here, I feel that in terms of strategy, it's going to be a pared down. It's not going to be a PR coup having a visiting US president. This is going to be what we call crisis communication. It's like what you do in public relations to avert, to try and maintain a narrative, to try and avert a crisis. Everyone's going to be working overtime to try and manage Trump's mouth. And I do feel we've got the Four of Swords here. We've got retreat. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen on that visit, because we've got this as the foundation of the reading. And we've got Saturn in the environment around, or the Devil card in the environment around, and it's right next to the Commerce and Expansion card. So the royals are definitely worried about Trump, the business person, and the baggage that he comes with. They're trying to balance everything. Who's going to be retreating is the question. Will Trump hold himself in? What's going to be happening? I think this visit to the UK is one to watch, whether you're a Royals fan or not. I feel that look for the subtleties here, because I do feel there's going to be high-level management of Donald Trump while he's in the UK. It won't be coming from his sycophantic people that surround him, but it will be coming from the British people themselves. I guess the essence of what it means to be British. I feel that there's going to be that kind of energy here coming through. So particularly watch the Royals and how they interact with the Trumps. Okay, so Trump in June. Let's have a look at Trump in June. Let's give these cards a really good shuffle here. Let's see what's happening with Trump in June. I'll pull 4 cards for the 4 weeks. Let me just get my calendar up, otherwise I'm likely to forget something, and you don't want that, and I certainly don't want the comments saying, but you forgot the 3rd week of June. Okay, so I've got my calendar here. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll have 4 cards. So this week and the subsequent weeks. Okay, sip of tea before I start. It's very overcast here in Goulburn. We're in Australia. We're actually in our pretty much in our winter now. We've had snow here in the last week, so it's actually quite cold. So let's have a look here. Trump in June. All right. What are the conditions week by week for Trump in June? What are the conditions? Volatility is an understatement, of course, and I keep getting that we're nearing the end of his presidency. I know time seems to be stretching on. People are frustrated. Yes, I am too. Particularly this morning I was, when I just saw the news coming over my feed about him, and I thought, oh, it'll be good when he no longer appears in my feed. Okay. Of course, I can turn it off, but I do believe in being conscious during these times, not unconscious. Okay. Oops. Okay. Well, no, we'll let that one go. It was the 3 of Cups, circles of support. All right. Trump in June. What do we need to know about Trump in June? What are going to be the conditions week by week, 1 to 4, Trump in June? All right. Okay, 6 of Pentacles, which is this week now. I'm wondering what sort of news is going to drop this week. If you remember the reading that I did on Trump in the UK, there's stuff that's quite big happening during his visit, which is interesting. Trump in June, the first week, we've got the 6 of Pentacles. I'll bring the laptop down and I'll use some clarifier cards. I'll just give you a good view of that. I'm using my Llewellyn deck today, and I'll clarify with my Spellcasters deck so that we can really dig down here card by card. Let me just give these a shuffle. Trump in June. Trump in June. Trump in June, Trump in June. Okay, Trump in June. Can I have some clarity on the 6 of Pentacles? I'm assuming this is information coming out about the debt that Trump's in. It could be something breaking around his financials, his business financials, loans and debts. Okay, this could also be economy news as well. We are speculating in Australia that there will be a recession here. We're actually almost in one now, and we've got our Reserve Bank, which is like your Reserve Federal Bank, the Fed, about to or considering lowering interest rates to stimulate our economy here. So it could be economic news, but let's have a look. Clarity on the 6 of Pentacles. Trump in June. Loans and debts, Six of Pentacles. Okay, we've got the Four of Wands, which is this celebratory card. What an odd clarifier to pull there, because that is quite a negative card. Okay, I thought so. The Ace of Swords, truth coming forward. All right, so what that is telling me is that there could be some information coming forward around Trump's financials. It is a win. In that Four of Wands, and some kind of truth coming forward in relation to these financials. I feel there's going to be some kind of breakthrough there. Something is happening around those financials this week. All right, let's have a look at week 2. Wow. June, volatile month here. This is the Eight of Wands. Things coming through very, very quickly. Lots of information in the second week coming forward. It's almost like a lightning bolt. This is the card of in other decks where the meteor is hitting the ground. This is a shake-up card. Second week of June. The Eight of Wands. Let's get some clarifying cards on that. The Eight of Wands, could we have a clarifier, please? The Eight of Wands. Have a clarifier, please, on that. Eight of Wands. Okay, there's a loss. There's some sort of loss here. We've got the Eight of Cups here. This is somebody who loses something and actually is in retreat. Who is that? Is that Donald Trump? The Ten of Pentacles. This is my card for the Trump organization. Okay, so it feels to me that in June, in the first and second weeks, we're going to get some information around the financials. It could also be, I'm getting a pull to economic information as well. It's information that has been hard won. There will be actually a win associated with actually getting that information out, sort of almost like a celebration here, because it's the truth coming forward. So that's this week. The second week, we've got, I think, it's almost like a domino effect. There's more news coming out, which will actually send Trump into a bit of a retreat here. I feel it's around his actual business, information coming out around the Trump organization in the second week of June. So we've got the prelude here. Something is occurring, and it's actually getting worse in that second week. Let's have a look at oh, damn it, I just shuffled again. Okay, let's just shuffle here. Third week of June for Trump. Third week of June. What are we seeing in the third week of June? Week beginning the 17th. Okay, King of Swords. This is something to do with the Mueller report on the 17th. Okay, there's a win here in the first week. We've got more information. It's actually building in intensity. Third week, we've got Mueller making an appearance. Now, I'm not saying that Mueller will be in court. Could be something to do with his investigations. It could be either his report, or it could be to do with the investigations that he's launched and stimulated, including those congressional investigations as well. Third week of June, we've got the lawmakers. Well, not the lawmakers, but we've got the truth, the prosecutors, the attorneys, etc. We've got something around those, either the Mueller report or the investigations in the third week. We have some clarity, please, on the King of Swords. Clarity on the King of Swords, third week of June. Okay, all right, Three of Cups. All right, this is suggesting deals potentially that were made. And in this deck, we've got these three people about to fall into the river. Okay, so it is a precarious deal that was made. We've got the Knight of Wands. Yeah, this is a win, I think, on behalf of either the House or investigating attorneys, because this is inspired action. I feel this is something around Trump's financials coming out in June, which is going to be quite a blockbuster month, I feel, for information and coming forward. I felt it might be too early for Mueller to testify, but he could be up in the third week, but I don't think so. I felt he was going to come on later, maybe July, perhaps, but um, certainly something around his report or those spurned investigations are going to come forward around the deals that were made. It is all to do with the money here. So Trump's financials are firmly in the frame in June. So let's have a look at the fourth week of June. What do we need to know? Fourth week of June. Okay, hard work. All right, so we're getting back now to what the response might be for this. It's heavy lifting now with all of these investigations and pushback from Trump in the fourth week of June, Trump and the White House, etc. This could also be not just Russia loans and debts. I'm getting a pull also to the Middle East, the Saudis, etc. There is some news coming forward here in June regarding financials. Okay, hard work in the fourth the fourth week. 10 of Wands, please. Clarity on the 10 of Wands. Okay, lifting a heavy load. Queen of Pentacles. I feel it's back now to Congress. This could be around testimonies. This could be around cross-examination, working hard to get the information out, and the 10 of Wands here. Okay, so, so by the fourth week in June, we're back to really, I think the Congress, the House, is having to do some heavy lifting. There's pushback by Trump and the Republicans because of I feel it's bombshell information that will come out in June, and by the fourth week, we're having to really work. However, what is hidden from our view is the 10 of Swords, which is somebody's painful ending. So in all of this information, that's going to be coming through in June, whether that be through testimonies, whether it be through the Mueller report, whether it be through those other investigations, whether it be media getting hold of information. This is going to be detrimental to Trump. It's all leading, of course. He's already in many ways at rock bottom, and I feel that June is going to be a huge month that will contribute eventually to the ending of his presidency. So by that fourth week, though, watch for Trump and the Republicans to be pushing back, and the onus will be on the House then to really speed up these investigations here. So I feel that Pelosi is waiting for those financials. Something could give in June. But by the end of June, they're having to really work again. Interesting. I haven't asked if the Democrats will move to impeachment in June. I'm conscious this is at 28 minutes, so I might leave that reading for later on in the week. Big week coming up. Big week. Trump and the UK. More information regarding his financials potentially coming forward, and then we've got really that second and third week things starting to really happen. But then by the fourth week, we've got the pushback and the Democrats in the House having to work particularly hard here, and the investigators too, because we've seen what happens. Even the judges make an order, and the Department of Justice is pushing back. So I'll leave that there, and that's Trump in June, including a little bit of an update on what the Royals are thinking at the moment, that they've been put in this position now where they've got to give him a state visit. So I hope he doesn't come to Australia, or as I said, I'll be making my placard and meeting the plane with the rest of the protesters. Thank you very much, viewers.